Good evening, everyone. Racers, start your engines, buckle in, because we're getting ready to go racing tonight. It's Aetherdrift Roundtable. As always, I am Chris, and I am
Turn
your
left.
commander mechanic, your MC for tonight, and I am joined by an incredible panel that we will get to know in just a moment. But I do want to remind everybody out there in the audience that tonight we are raising donations for an excellent cause, the Trevor Project. Once again, great to see another fantastic cause coming back to the round table. But if you hit Command Donate in chat and donate in $5 increments, we're going to be giving away some special prizes in a draw later tonight at the end of the night, giving away everything from Infinite Tokens prize packs to very generously donated signed artist proofs as well, all the way through to precons from Aetherdrift as well. So get those donations in. You're helping a great cause, and you might be able to win some prizes as well. So before we get right into it, let's see our racers for tonight. Who's going to be joining me going around the track? And we've got a lot of new faces for our roundtable tonight. So let's start with them before we get to some of our returning guests. First, let's start with Maddy. Maddy, can you tell us who you are, where we can find you, and which team were you rooting for in Aetherdrift's race?
Sure. I'm Maddy. I'm from the Spike Feeders. You can also find me online as Clover Alters. Today, I am rooting for Sita Varma, which is, I guess, the Aether Rangers. Very cool.
Very cool. All right. Excellent. Excellent. Thank you for joining us tonight, Maddy. Looking forward to it. We're also joined first time, Aaron Miller. Aaron, why don't you tell us who you are, where we can find you, and what team were you rooting for in the race?
I'm Aaron Miller. I'm a magic artist most of the time. You can find me at aaronbmiller.com. And is it okay if I'm voting for the mechanics? All the folks that keep the car, everything running as an artist that contributes to making the things run. So,
yeah. Look, you and me both rooting for the mechanics in this. All right. Thank you, Aaron, for joining us tonight. Yawg, welcome to the roundtable. Your first time. Who are you? Where can we find you? And what team were you rooting for in the race?
Yeah, I'm Yawg, or I go by Yawg Goth everywhere else online. I do Magic the Gathering cosplay, just a little bit of everything, kind of a jack of all trades there. Who was I rooting for? I was rooting for the Speed Demons. Oh, yeah, because they were just the most hardcore, badass looking MFers out there. So
very cool. Very cool. Well, glad to have you here tonight, Yawg. Returning to our roundtable once again, the one and only Shivam. Shivam, wanting to let everybody out there know who you are, where we can find you, and what team were you rooting for?
Hi, folks. I'm Shivam. I'm easy to find. I'm everywhere on basically anywhere you need magic stuff. But I host a podcast, Casual Magic, and Shivam and Wheeler Love Magic. And you can also find me on last week's pre-release for this set, and like a couple of podcasts I did with Loading Ready Run. But as far as who I'm supporting, I like the red-green team. I don't remember. I think they're the Goblins or something. I don't, whatever it is. But they go fast and they play really well. So those guys.
Fantastic. Well, welcome once again to the round table. And lastly, but not leastly, my co-pilot for our round tables, it's none other than Clay. Clay, welcome back. Why don't you let us know who you are, where we can find you, and what team were you rooting for in the race?
Hi friends, I'm Claybee. I'm our C&C representative on all of these. I'm the person who gets on the camera and just talks, does roughly nothing else in the process along with putting these things together. You can find me if you search Claybee in any social media site or anything, you're gonna find me. That's where I live, that's the name. And for the team that I was rooting for, so I was gonna say the Guidelight Voyagers, because the idea of the hive mind robots is really cool. But when I looked back at the names of the teams before this started, I think it's actually the Lacrian Quick Beasts, primarily because a lot of the animals they use aren't especially known for being fast. There's like a giant sloth, there's like random things, and then there's the one that's like the flying possum, and I don't really understand the mechanics and how they're competing with these.
Possums don't fly. I'm just
There's multiple questions, and then the fact that they're in a race with exploding cars and ghost cars and all kind. I'm fascinated by it. It's really, really. So I'm gonna say the Quick Beasts, just because as a concept, whoever came up with that, that's great.
I mean, one of my favorite cards from them is like a big giant elephant that's got a saddle of 5.
Yeah, there's a mammoth. There's just like all kinds of like weird animal choices. That's great.
Definitely an unconventional entry to the race, but makes for a fun concept next to goblin cars with giant rockets strapped to them or demon powered dragsters. Yeah, very cool. That brings us to our first question of the night for the panel. What did we think about the death race concept for this set? It's something new and something different for Magic to bring these kind of vehicles into it, and makes for a very different kind of set, which we'll get into in terms of the planes that we're visiting in just a moment. But what did we think of the overall concept? Any feelings one way or another on it? Shivam, I think you mentioned that you had feelings.
Well, it's challenging because on the one hand, I was very excited. I mean, like, I think the idea of a planar death race, of hopping between planes, driving cars and having that's really cool. Like, I think it would be a really cool video game, or it would have been a really cool, I mean, even like as a Magic set, like if you had created like a plane chase set where you could do that and kind of just hop and emulate that while you're playing, sick. And like, frankly, even thematically, I think it's really, really cool. I like the idea of it. However, what got me is that I wish that Wizards had reintroduced Avishkar, Amonkhet, Muruganda, and then built a death race we could go to.
Mm-hmm.
Because like, bring these sets, give them their own due, give them a world for us to care about, and then let us go and zoom through it, and it would be sick. It would give you more weight and more like you would care more about it, because otherwise you got this. The problem is the set has the same vibe that like original Kaladesh did, which was, this is a Cars and Rebels just happens to be dropped into a world that's been wallpapered with some other culture. And like, because like when you look, if you look at the set for Aetherdrift and you look at it devoid of art, every name, every car thing could be any generic race world anywhere. There's nothing that kind of like drops it into a place and says, this is of this place. And I would have liked to have seen more, this is of this place, but it's also hella cool. And it's super fun. And the cards are super fun. So I'm like, I guess.
Great. Maddy, what did you think of the overall concept of the set?
Yeah, I guess like I agree with Shivam that maybe they could have fleshed out a bit of the culture of the world a little bit more than they did, because it felt like just a very one-off, like Mario Kart, Hot Wheels, like we're gonna go fast and have fun.
Yeah.
And it's fun to get away from the traditional fantasy settings that we see in Magic sometimes.
I disagree.
I think it's fun. So to me, it's fun, right? Like I'm gonna have a good time playing this set, and and I like vehicles, so they have a lot of vehicles. Seems great to me, right? So.
Right. Yeah. Seems good right from the get-go. Mounts and vehicles.
Fire, speed, vehicles, like.
Yeah. Literal blue shell references.
Yes.
Yeah. I've been playing the streamer event all day, and it is, and between this and the PPR, I've got a pretty good feel for the set now, and limited wise, this is hella fun. So like.
Nice. Aaron, how about you? How do you feel about the death race concept for a set?
Death race is definitely cool. I mean, it brings back lots of childhood memories of the 80s movies and stuff like that. Although one of the things that chatting with some of my friends that came up that I thought would be interesting to hear your guys' take, was the idea that would this have been a better set as an unset?
Mm. Yeah.
I don't know if no, I would.
I hate the unsets. Can I say that? I hate them.
Just from the comedy aspect, the taking it up, taking everything to 11, everything is just insane and crazy. The idea that there's racetracks running through, plane after plane after plane.
Yeah,
So it was just an idea, just to hear what maybe you guys thought about that.
I would definitely think that if we went less death race and more wacky races with it, an unset would make a lot of sense. But I do agree that the start your engines mechanic, max speed mechanic, does feel like a very unset mechanic to me. Yawg, how do you feel about the death race theme for the set?
Yeah, I just sort of wanted to go off Aaron's point and maybe a solution to that. One of the planes that they introduced was that Gastral plane where all those sort of Mad Max characters come from, and we don't really get a look at that too much. Maybe if they had focused the set around one plane where racing was their entire thing, and instead of trying to bring in all these other planes, which might muddle the mixture a little, you could thematically focus in on a more serious tone.
Yeah, you don't really get to know the new plane at all if you're jumping around.
Mm-hmm.
That's just...
And we had racers from many different and unexplored planes introduced this set too. Maybe teasers of places we're going to go in the future, but overall feels kind of unfleshed out for those color pairings and those teams.
Mm-hmm. So I'm just thinking now, going off of that, if you want to go to that plane now, you've done the race thing. So now is that plane just sort of a dead spot? Now can we not go back to that plane because all they are about racing? I don't know.
Yeah, totally fair.
I think that given that the story sets up Avishkar to be the new kind of hub world, kind of in conflict with Ravnica in terms of their ideologies and soft power exploration, I think we will get a chance to see Amonkhet and Avishkar again. Muruganda, I get wanting to do it in here because there's not a lot you can do there, but just by and large though, I think the set itself is so full of just race carring references, what a word, racing car references and specific things related to that, refueling, whatever. There were a few weirdo cards like the blue shell or Jason Sudeikis pretending to be Mario or whatever it is. But just I think thematically, it felt more serious feeling than unset feeling. If I think I would have preferred it if it was wacky races and more silly, goofy, because I loved the old cartoon wacky races. But this set doesn't feel like wacky races. It literally just feels like races.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not even the very deathy, just races.
Right. We see some cars, some unnamed vehicles from other teams explode in some of the background art and everything, but doesn't really seem like it's very death racy to it. I agree. Clay, we haven't had your opinion yet on the set's theme. What do you think?
It's been really interesting listening to everything because I kind of hadn't had those thoughts or impressions, I think, to a wide extent. I really liked the theme for the set, but I think a lot of that is informed by the story. K. Arsenal Rivera did a fantastic job with the series, and I think it created the kind of stakes and tension and stuff that maybe isn't necessarily readily evident or whatever fully executed in the cards themselves. But as far as the concept, I really love it from this not world building idea of this is the first interplanar like collaboration that we've gotten to see since the Omen Paths, right? Like Thunder Junction was like individuals going to this other place, right? But like this is the first time that we're seeing and especially these unvisited planes that like it kind of feels like like it's planting a seed and it's giving us these ideas of like what these other places could be, so that when they're announced, when we can go, like we have this inkling of them. And I like the idea of that that Jim brought up, the conflict of this kind of centering around Avishkar instead of Ravnica. And I like the idea of like Ravnica was the center for so long, and for the story was the center, but now it's a new multiverse, right? Like the Omen Pass exists now, all of this stuff. So how does that all work? And so like this idea of like recentering, I really like that. And just the interplanar collaborations kind of gives a much more structured feeling than Thunder Junction. So I guess that's what I would say about that.
Marketing hat on from me right here. This is soft launching future planes that we can go to as well. Hey, which of these groups does the audience latch on to? We'll go to that plane in 5 years, something like that, or 3 years.
Very much
the development cycle is. So like getting some teasers out there is great, but there's got to be planes in here that we never revisit again either. Just they aren't popular enough, they aren't fleshed out enough from an idea.
And it's also nice to have planes that we just know exist.
Yeah.
It's okay for the multiverse to be multi.
And that's the thing. It makes this setting much more lived in, to know that there's the strange neighbor 3 doors down. We never get to know his last name, but we wave hi to him every once in a while, right? That kind of thing can exist. Now, we are visiting 3 main planes in this set. We're visiting Muruganda, we're visiting Amaket, and we're visiting the newly renamed Avishkar as well. And Shivam, you had a direct hand in that, didn't you?
In a manner of speaking, yeah. I mean, they hired me to be a consultant and I've said this everywhere I've mentioned this. I was not the only one, and there were many Magic players who were like also of South Asian descent, Egyptian people as well. And unfortunately, we didn't get any like beastmen so sadly, Muruganda has not been represented properly.
Some oozes.
No vanilla monsters.
No. Frank Frazetta wasn't available. I don't know. But like, yeah, they called us in and they had us give our thoughts on Kaladesh and what the issues were and what sorts of things we would want to see when we came back. And one of the big things was like, hey, can we have a less awkward name? And it took them a hot minute to get around to that idea. And I encouraged them along by saying, hey, guess what? The last set we had in Kaladesh block was called Aetherdrift. What happens in a revolt? They changed the flag. They changed the name. And suddenly you could see their light go like, and it's like, oh, we'll get back to you. Bye. Click. And yeah, like like that wasn't the only part. Like I also got to work on like helping design the world book so that folks like Aaron could go and draw the pretty pictures and give like more suggestions on way to make it feel more authentically South Asian, or feel more like culturally neat little cultural references and things. That's a part of my sadness for this set, is that we did a lot of work and it's really, really cool. And like a fraction of a fraction of a fraction made it into the actual set because it's all just pictures of cars.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, where's my rickshaw, man? We could have had a cool rickshaw racing car or something. Like that would have been so sick. A moped, you know? But yeah, like giving it the name Avishkar was basically, Avishkar means invention in Hindi and Marathi and North Indian languages. And I think it fits better than Kaladesh did. I think it's just got a cooler vibe to it and very easy to say. Like in the notes that I mentioned in the spreadsheet that they sent me and like that I sent back with my thoughts and feelings, I was like, this passes the saffron olive test. Meaning saffron olive can say this without just sounding like he's got a hatchet in his mouth. You know?
Yeah, that's great.
I don't know. I was so excited to work on this because Kaladesh is my favorite set, and like when you work on something like, and everyone's like, "Oh, but aren't you mad about this?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure," but that's because I love it and think it could be better, and like being able to be the guy to help make it better is sick. It's
Yeah.
sick. It was so cool. Yeah, like I don't know. I was really excited with how it turned out. We also got to help pick Basri's costume and Sita's costume and how the way Pia and Chandra look in this set, and being able to pick the or help figure out which new gods are going to be for Amonkhet. Uh, it rules, man. It was such a cool experience, and I'm so glad I got a chance to do that.
Awesome. Yeah, seems like a very cool experience to be able to have a hand on the ball like that.
Oh, dude, it
It's
ruled, man. Like,
great.
if you've been a fan of something for like 30 whatever years, getting to like, how many people get to say they got to change the name of a plane?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Very, very, very cool. Well, because we're visiting 3 planes in this set, I think very clearly your votes for going back to Avishkar eventually
I think
as well.
actually Avishkar is cool, but new Amonkhet is also sick. Like, real talk, if you read the stories, the world that they're setting up with the old gods and like the scorpion god and friends off in the sands, and then like the new gods in the city, and zombies having autonomy and just hanging around, it's like, whoa, I want to play that game. That looks
Yeah.
hella cool. You
Yeah.
know?
Agreed.
Zombies coexisting with the living is very, very interesting from a story beat from my perspective on this one. So I'd love to visit it as well. But Yawg, how about you? We see 3 planes in this set. Any of those 3 you want to revisit, or any from the racers that you'd want to visit and see more of?
Well, I'm definitely on the same page as Shivam with the Amonkhet stuff, because that's the stuff from the set that really stands out the most to me, I think, is like even just the art from some of the lands, like so incredibly beautiful, and it really like draws you into that world. That one, I don't know, I can't remember which one it is, maybe the Demir land that has like the scarab god on it. It's just like so like visually striking, and that's stuff that really like pulls me in. So I definitely think an Amonkhet. I do like how they continued some of the Duskmorn stuff, and we didn't just like, okay, Duskmorn dropped that. Like they continued some of that stuff on, which was nice because I like the spooky vibe, but you don't have to like overdo it too much. But so yeah.
I like that we kind of got a little bit more of Duskmorn so soon after seeing it as well. Makes it seem like it's actually going to be a bit of a focus, which is great. Drop more of those tidbits into it, especially after the Duskmorn set proper introduced Valgavoth as kind of like a multiversal bad guy in here too. Already love seeing it come back, which is great. Clay, how about you? Of these 3 sets, or any of the sets from the racing teams as well, that you would like to see us revisit in future sets?
I'm really the Voyagers. I think wherever they're from would be fascinating. But of the 3, I think Muraganda would. I think Amonkhet would be super cool. New Amonkhet. I think Avishkar, like an actual visit there where we got to see so much more of the world, like Shivam was saying, other than just the cars, would be really cool. But I've wondered about Muraganda for I guess. Well, for me, I started playing in 2014, so 10 years, a decade. But it's just fascinating. And then the story, there's one of the side stories focuses on Muraganda, and like just the world and the idea that all of the stuff. I'm just like, I want it. I want this so badly, and it feels so like such a different turn after having Avishkar and these other places that it was like, okay, let's go there. Let's do that.
Look, dude, give me big, bulky dudes oiled up with giant axes, and I'm here for whatever's going on, right? Like Conan the Barbarian, let's go. This is hella fun.
Yeah, the idea that this is a plane that doesn't have like any metal. Like in the story, the protagonist has the only steel that's supposedly on the plane, and it came from a star, and like that's the sword, and like there's so much there that's just so cool and so different from so much of what we've been doing recently that like I want it.
And now we have these multiversal racers zooming through a plane that has never seen metal before. It's like that story that the Coke from
The
Heaven.
gods must be
Oh
crazy.
yeah,
Gods must be crazy. That's the one.
Yeah.
That's the
Except
one. But it's very much like that, right?
The Avishkari went and made like inroads, and they talked to the people, so they built a whole kind of idea. But I mean, that's one of the things. Like, I wish we had seen a little bit of that intervening moment of an open path has opened up, and these weirdos with like science gear and stuff walk into Barbarian Town, and like give me that set. What does that interaction look like?
That's wild.
Absolutely.
The first Avishkari to walk through that open path and just get blocked by, just get completely like, head torn off by some random sentient dino guy is probably a sick set by itself.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
First contact.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Give it to me.
Exactly.
so like that's got to go.
Well, so Maddie, how about you? Of the 3 planes that we visited, or any of the ones that we've heard about in this set, are there any that you'd like to revisit?
I am also excited for Amonkhet. I liked the first time that we went there, and I'm kind of I haven't finished the whole story for Aetherdrift yet, but I'm at the part where we're kind of being introduced and learning a little bit more about some of the Amonkhet traditions, and I just kind of dig that. So I would like to know more about that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'd be excited for it too. But Aaron, how about you? We saw 3 sets as background or as setting for this set, but we heard about a lot more. Are there any that you're interested in? Knowing that if we visit these planes, you're probably going to draw some residents.
Yeah, which one do you want to draw, man?
Oh, I want to go to Burgundo. It feels that's the world guide that I want in my inbox. I just feel like it'll just be fun to paint that
Yes.
level of fantasy. Like, let's do some fantasy.
Yes.
There's a
Big axes.
There's a set. I know that they've already got their plans, and I there's nothing I can do about it. But I mean, I always have to be careful because I know what's coming out. I just don't know what's been announced. But I know that there's like a set coming out that would have been a perfect
contrast.
Yeah. It would have been the perfect contrasting set to do afterwards. But it's not something that I either know about. I mean, so yeah.
I wish you could tell us.
I want that world guide. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I want to take a quick moment and welcome all of the raiders that just joined in. Our good friend Tappy just raided us with a whole bunch of folks. So welcome, raiders. We are in the midst of our Aetherdrift Roundtable, joined by this fantastic crew, all talking about the new set while raising donations for the Trevor Project. So if you hit Command Donate in chat, like has already been done there, and donate in $5 increments, not only are you helping a fantastic cause, but at the end of the night tonight, we are going to be doing a draw for some prizes as well. This ranges from everything from Infinite Tokens prize packs to signed artist proofs from Aaron, through to precons from the set itself.
Sign artist proofs.
Yeah.
Joel, talk to me.
So yes, welcome. We are just discussing the set right now and some of the places that we would want to revisit. So we've talked about the setting a little bit. I want to dive into some of the mechanics of the set, and it's because we saw a lot of mechanics this set. Not only did we see some main mechanics introduced in the set or focused on in the set, but we saw some cameos in terms of mechanics for the set as well. Even in the precons, we saw energy reintroduced as well. distinctly Avishkarian mechanic as well, which is great to see. But how do we feel, first of all, about the new mechanics of exhaust and start your engines? For those of you that have had your hands on the cards themselves and played them, how do they feel? Yawg, we'll start with you. How did you feel about these mechanics?
So I could talk about start your engines a little bit. I was very lukewarm on start your engines when I first saw the mechanic. But I think I've done almost like a full 180, 360 on that, or no, 180, because it's something that you can drop on like a land or something on turn 1, and then if you have something with haste, you can get up to speed 2 like almost immediately. I was worried it was going to be really slow, but I think in the right aggro deck you can actually make it work, and that was something that I hate to see a dead mechanic,
It's my concern seeing it on paper as well, that if this comes down on even turns 3 or 4 in Commander specifically, the game's gonna be over before you can reach max speed in a lot of instances. But if you can do something like drop it on turn 1, like on that Muragonda Raceway that we saw, chances are you can hit max speed relatively early in a game, and then your cards are just gravy, right? Yeah. Maddy, how about you? How do you feel about the exhaust and start your engines mechanic?
So I have not actually played the cards in the set yet, but at a glance, I'm very excited about Start Your Engines. I like to go fast, and I like to play a lot of decks that ping my opponents a bunch, so I feel like I'd activate it really quickly. So yeah, for me, that's what I'm excited about. Exhaust a little bit less, but I like speed.
Yeah. Excellent. Excellent. Clay, how do you feel about these new mechanics, exhaust and start your engines?
I'll start by saying I don't really have an opinion on exhaust. I don't feel one way or another. I don't know how it'll feel to play it, but I just
It's
in general.
awesome.
Well, I'm really glad to hear that. But
Sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. It's just in general. It doesn't feel like the kind of effect that I'm going to want to play in any way. That kind of the decision paralysis of is this the right time to use this because I don't get to use it again is I don't like that kind of thing. But start your engines looks really cool to me, and like Matt was saying, like the ability to like there's spells that like ping each opponent for 1 or something like that, like the ability to like accelerate it, and I'll talk about more later, but the new Samut I'm really excited for, specifically for that, like to get to use that in Commander.
Nice. Very cool. Very cool. Aaron, how do you feel about the new mechanics? Any feeling one way or another?
I will find out when someone hands me a deck at some point and has to explain it to me. That's kind of where I'm always at. Yeah, my thing is like, hopefully there's some kind of token I can make. Or I can have fun painting something fun.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of dad holding a newborn going, for your exhaust mechanic.
And Shivam, you've had hands on the set. You got to play in the pre-release. How did these mechanics feel?
So I was also concerned a little bit about the 2 mechanics we talked about, start your engines and exhaust. Start your engines has a little bit of confusion in that you play the card with start your engines, you go to 1, you can immediately cause loss of life that turn and go to 2 right away. So if they, for instance, tap a pain land or you ping them or do whatever, you can immediately jump to 2. And then that kind of makes it a little faster. Realistically, in limited games, it was harder to get to max speed just because there's always blockers or whatever. But when you did, all of the payoffs were awesome. The Soul Ring land was awesome. All of the there was a red card that's a 3/1 that's got a max speed of tap and you get 2 red. So it's like a enhanced. Oh, look at that, dude! You're really good.
I told you. He is incredible.
Yeah, no, there were a bunch of really great max speed payoffs, and if you were playing some of the more aggressive colors, it went off pretty quickly, and it felt balanced. It felt cool. Like I don't know how it'll. I mean, there's so many good limited mechanics that just do jack in Commander, right? Like that's just the name of the game. I think the Soul Ring land is going to be worth at least trying, and I think some of the max speed stuff is going to be good. Exhaust though is great. It's as good. It's like Monstrosity was, and Monstrosity was awesome.
Yeah.
I loved Monstrosity in limited. I loved Monstrosity in whatever the hell this in limited and Commander, and then also Exhaust is effectively Monstrosity. It does the same thing. You trigger it once, you get some boost of some kind. But there's an elf in that, the one that's on screen, that lets you trigger your exhaust abilities twice. So for instance, if you got Loot who's sitting there going like green tap Black Lotus, blue tap Ancestral or whatever, with the Elvish Refueler, you can get Nutter Butters with Loot. And then it just like, I feel like the dream is eminently livable, especially in a world where we've got so many flicker effects and Conjurer's Closets and things. Honestly, like both of those mechanics were great for limited. I think some of them will make it into Commander or other sets, but really the bigger talk to me is that vehicles and mounts in this set got a huge upgrade. In that one of the bigger problems in the olden days is vehicles would show up, they would have a large saddle or mount cost or piloting cost, whatever that crew cost, and they would do like nothing. But like these vehicles have really there's can you bring up the red green vehicle that is rocket bucker, booster buggy, bam hammer, whatever the hell it is, goblin names. It's sick. And
Rocketeer Boost Buggy, yeah.
Thank you,
I like
Rocketeer
that.
Boost Buggy.
Mhm.
It's got both. It's both a pilot and a exhaust ability, because this dude rules. First off, it attacks him. It's a 3/2, so it attacks and makes a treasure token. And then if you exhaust it, which you can do right away because it's basically turn 2 drop, turn 3 exhaust, you make it into a 4/3 that is always a creature, and then you can do cool things like I did, which is pilot your bigger boats with your car. I think the funnest thing I did was I mounted an elephant with a car, so the elephant is running and the car is going vroom vroom on top. But but this is very emblematic of how cool the vehicles and stuff are now. And I think this new design makes vehicles way more playable in EDH and other places. And I don't know, it's just hell. I don't like vehicles, and I was super excited to play them, so I'm very like here for it.
I love vehicles, and this vehicle is on my list.
Dude, this
It
car
looks like so much
rules.
fun. Yeah.
Yawg, you had something to add.
Oh, yeah, I just wanted to go off what Shivam said, like specifically about like the loot card in a format like Commander, where you have very limited choices to make. Like having an Ancestral Recall in the command zone, like that's 3 extra cards you have on that creature right there.
It's got haste for
and
no
it has
good
haste,
reason.
which is just nuts. So it's like in a format where you're really choosing and paring down cards to have like those 2-for-1s, or what is this, a 4-for-1? Like what is this? It's like ridiculous.
I mean, even if it just had come into play and let you tap and bolt something, that is stupid. Like, are you kidding?
Yeah. Real good card. And even though these abilities can only be used once,
only if you're not doing it right.
Right. That's exactly it. You're in blue. You've got ways to flicker it, bounce it, recast it. If it isn't your command zone, let it die.
Bring back the Elvish Refueler for a second, because the second line of that ability is really cool, because what it says is if you have not used an exhaust ability this turn, you may re-exhaust one of your abilities. So you can like and as long as it's like, I believe it's your turn only, right? Yeah, because otherwise it would be broken. But basically you can just keep rebuying these exhausts. And I had my deck was built around this card. I didn't get loot in my pool, but I had like some other exhausters. There's a 4/4 that with reach and trample that can exhaust to become a 7/7, and then exhaust again to become a 10/10 reach and trample, then exhaust again to become a 13/13 reach and trample. And it's pretty nuts. It's pretty stupid. And like, I think EDH will allow us to do silly, foolish things with this. And the payoffs, I'm glad that they made them actually worth your time to want to investigate.
Yeah. It strikes me a lot like the adapt ability that we saw from one of the returns to
from
Ravnica
Allegiance.
Right, where much like monstrosity, it's you can only, if it's got a +1/+1 counter on it, you can't activate it again. But if you remove that counter, you can activate it again. So there are ways to get around that restriction. There are synergies that you can build into your decks in order to exploit these kind of things, and it's one of those mechanics that makes you jump through hoops to really exploit it. And I like those, the ones that make you think.
Yeah, I was just about to tag off of that, which is to say that the fact that this does not tell you explicitly you should flicker this, and there are no flicker cards in the set or nothing like that, it really is a great educational moment to teach people, like, oh.
Yeah, there's no
And
rules text that says if you flicker this, it becomes a new permanent or a new object and can be reactivated again, right? Yeah. So Shivam, you touched on the fact that vehicles and mounts are back. Great, some great improvements with that. We even saw in some of the development talk about the set that vehicles and mounts in the set were designed with enters the battlefield abilities or static abilities so that they have more use if you aren't crewing them, if you aren't mounting them as well, which I think is a fantastic improvement to these two.
Mount will never not be funny to me.
Can't take this guy anyway.
So not only are we seeing vehicles and mounts come back, but we're also seeing mechanics like affinity come back and cycling come back in the set too. And every time we see some of these, we see a new twist on them too. Are we excited to see some of these, I think what they're called deciduous mechanics return? Any of them that you're excited to see in more and more sets? Let's start here with Clay. Any of these mechanics that you're excited to come back? Any ones that you want to see even more of?
Yeah, I think I like them incorporating the different mechanics, giving them, even if it's not the center of the set. Anytime you return, anytime you do it, especially if mechanics have only been the primary mechanic in a set like a couple times, like that's one of those things, right? When then you go, if you want to build that deck in Commander, it's hard. There's less options, there's less flexibility, but like the more little pieces that we get of them, like the more options that gives us in like the broader card pool. And I always think that's a good thing. And I also think that like flavorfully, it helps reflect now with the omen paths and the like intersections of the interactions between the different planes. Like Shivam was talking about with like having vehicles and mounts, like getting that many new additions to those pools is just a great thing. And then, yeah, I think as far as like the like cameo mechanics, like that just flavorfully improves on like the new reality of the multiverse.
Yeah, it kind of opens up the gateways to see any of these mechanics on any plane and allows us to kind of distinctly identify, oh, that card, like a Bloodghast that's on screen right now, is not of this plane because it's the only instance of landfall in this entire set. So it does make some of these sets feel a little bit more interconnected, and from a design standpoint, opens up the ability to have some cameo mechanics on cards. I think it's very interesting and does make the multiverse feel like a multiverse here. But Aaron, what do you think? We've typically had sets where some of these mechanics are very unique to their settings, and some of them reflect in their art as well. Do you think that it's going to be interesting to see something that's going to depict something like Suspend, which has very distinct graphical elements to the art for it, potentially appear in sets moving forward?
Sometimes they let us know what is below the very bottom of the art. Usually we don't see anything below or above it. So occasionally we get some information that is X, Y, or Z needs to be shown because this card
does.
Yeah, because they, like if they don't want to have you showing a character holding a sword, if it says, double axe Sam, and he's got a sword, like nobody wants that. Even an artist, I wouldn't want that, to see the name and all this stuff, and then the art doesn't match.
Yeah.
The only thing that I care about as a on and off again player is how easy I can pick up any of these crazy mechanics. Every time I've played, because sometimes I'll do a charity event and I'm just a guy playing it with everyone else. Everybody has always been awesome and kind to explain to me like what a card does that I have that has a mechanic that I just don't understand, and they make it easy and fun so that we can. I'm still going to lose, but they make it fun,
Very good. And you got to illustrate a vehicle for this set specifically. Yeah. I'm sure that one was very interesting in the notes to know that you're making a vehicle for this.
I kind of, sort of. It's we don't always. Wasn't sure. I mean, I knew it was a chariot, but sometimes it's an artifact. Like I've painted a chariot before, and it is not a vehicle.
Right.
So I think the biggest challenge for me was, all my sketches were basically the same as the alt art ones. So when I got my feedback was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. That kind of angle to show the chariot and the cats and the rider made sense. Like, I was having a moment.
That card rules, by the way.
It's really cool.
Well, thanks. I don't have anything to do with anything outside the art.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, because I know sometimes artists are like, oh, I made this amazing painting and the card sucks. No, this card is actually really fun.
Yeah, it happens all the time. But yeah, it gave me an opportunity to again, this is all about speed and fast. So I wanted to see if I could reflect that.
The gnarly zombie Sphinx cats. Incredible. Love it.
The tough part was and there's a whole bunch of zombies behind coming with. It was like, oh, this is going to be tough. But I really wanted to just focus on other the shapes, the speed lines, and not get hung up on a few things that might be I don't know how this works. I don't know how those wheels attach. And I was like, I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to make some cool shapes that get everything moving and fast. I wanted to kind of focus on that.
Awesome. Well, Maddy, how do you feel about these kind of guesting mechanics or returning mechanics, even these special cameo mechanics? Does it make the universe seem bigger, or is it just a splash?
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I guess because I'm a relatively casual player, right? So I think about it from the perspective of new players. When a new player comes into a set like this and they get to be experiencing all these different mechanics and stuff, it's pretty good, right? And it gives people more insight into the game, instead of here, we're going to give you 2 mechanics and then we're going to go to the next set, you're going to do just different mechanics and then just different mechanics, right? And there's very little overlap. And so I kind of that newer players will get to experience that. But also when you think about a mechanic like Affinity, to me, it still seems like it's a fairly narrow mechanic, if that's what we're going to call Affinity. It's mechanic. What am I trying to say? Everybody's always building the same decks, right? So the more Affinity cards we're going to introduce into the game, the more variance we're going to see. And that's what I get excited about. I don't want to see people playing just the same decks all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Very fair. Very fair. Something like Affinity, especially on the Gear Seeker Serpent on screen right now, strikes me as a very Mirrodin mechanic, a very kind of Phyrexian mechanic at this point too. But being able to see them splashed on other planes, being able to see them guest as cameos is always a welcome callback in my opinion. Yawg, how do you feel about seeing some of these mechanics again?
Oh, no, especially just going off Affinity. Mirrodin was one of the sort of the first few sets that I played like heavily, and to see Affinity back always like gets me really excited. They like power crept Somber Hoverguard, which is really cool.
Card is real strong.
I can only imagine that that's going to be a limited just bomb in the right deck. So I'm excited to try to build that Affinity deck in limited. I do really enjoy the world building of it all, like the fact that, because Clay mentioned this, that we're visiting new planes and planes are crossing over. So for a card from a plane to have a specific tie to that plane through the mechanic really ties it all together for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that we see that in a couple of the cameo mechanics as well, because cycling was something that was on Amonkhet the first time that we visited it. It's back here because it's one of the planes that we're visiting through, but we also see something like Exert on Basri, which is a very Amonkhet mechanic. It's one of the only times that we've seen it here on the card that's kind of the poster child for Amonkhet.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Shivam. Sorry, you look like you had your hand up there.
I did, yes. I was like, what do you want me to say? No, I think it's actually really smart to them to bring back keyword mechanics, not necessarily like mechanics, but like these keyword ones, because vocabulary words in Magic, especially that more and more players are learning to play through Commander, and Commander cards are like literally 100 cards with 100 different mechanics from 100 different sets that are all over the place. So reinforcing some of these keywords, instead of just seeing oddball cards that are like, when a land comes into play, do thing and thing, instead of just saying landfall thing, or like Gearseeker Serpent saying, when Kaladesh came out and the card was printed the first time, and it was just like, this card costs 1 less to cast for each artifact in play, felt clunky and weird. Whereas just Affinity, and you're like, what does Affinity do? Here's reminder text. Now, not only do you have a shortened way to refer to this, but you also have a new piece of vocabulary that integrates you better into the greater game of Magic, because you're going to see Affinity cards. You're going to see Landfall all the time. You're going to see all of these other cards. Being able to have a way to just introduce someone to an idea, it opens up a whole window of new cards you can reprint. Because then you're not scared of like, oh, this has like, remember all those cards from Invasion or whatever that had domain on them, but didn't say that? They're just like, this gets bloody blah for each land you haven't played. Well, once we say domain, now it's super duper easy. I think being able to integrate people into the history of Magic that way is a great tool, and I'm glad that they've decided to use it. Exert on Basri fits really well because he's so iconically an Amonkhet character that giving him cycling, giving him Exert is the plane in a card, right? It's like if they made, I'm trying to think who else is just so iconically tied to a plane. Like Nissa with a landfall would just make sense, right? Or like if like Saheeli shows up and has energy as a mechanic, or Fabricate, you would feel like, oh, that's cool. That fits the character. And I think it's really cool to do that for notable legendary characters. I don't think you should do these one-off type of mechanics for just card. Mm-hmm. Like putting it on a character who's got a reason to have this mechanic gives it emphasis and gives it grounding within the greater multiverse. Otherwise, you're just being greedy.
I think that's a fantastic point. I think done in moderation is great, but really does tie a card to a plane when it's got those planes mechanics.
Somebody brought up the idea of like, why do you have Exert and Exhaust in the same set? Aren't they like going to confuse anything? I'm like, I don't think so, because this is literally the one card that has Exert, and it doesn't have Exhaust. If they put Exert and Exhaust on the same card, they're stupid and they wouldn't do that. But having the one-off on a rare legend, fine.
Yeah, exactly. I'm excited to see it moving forward. If this kind of design ethos.
I'm just mad that this dude uses cats instead of soldiers, but that's me.
Of course you are. Well, folks, we are about to start talking about our arts and favorite cards of the set in the back half of today's roundtable. But before we move topics, I do want to remind everybody that we are raising donations for the Trevor Project. We are just about at $300 raised already in just the first hour of tonight's show. So please, if you can donate in $5 increments, not only are you helping a fantastic cause, but you are entering to win prizes for the end of tonight's event. We'll be doing a draw for Infinite Tokens prize packs, signs, artist proofs, and precons from the set as well. So please donate, and to give generously. The Trevor Project thanks you for all your donations. We will also be doing Q&A at the end of tonight's session. So if you've got any questions for the panel, you can redeem the channel points redemption of Ask a Question. It's just a single point. So if you've been here at all, you will have that point. It highlights your question, just like Chris has shown us in chat right now, and we'll be asking our panel your questions at the end of tonight's event. So please do that, and we'll get back into some of the questions that we've got for everybody. Starting with one of my favorite ones that I ask every one of these panels: what is your favorite art in the set? We see a lot of planes, we see a lot of guests, we see a lot of arts and art styles here, but do you have any favorites? And Aaron, I think we're going to start this one with you, because there's at least 3 that should be on your favorites list here.
Well, so what I did was I scoured through the Scryfall list and looked at them at their reduced size. Partially that's their intent is to be looked at small. And I just wanted to note the ones that like really kind of grabbed me. I've got a few of them. I don't know which one is my favorite, but I have a bunch of them that I was like, I love this. I love looking at this. So like the first one I'll throw out there is Curse Cloth Wrappings. Dominic Mayer. He just is always a killer designer.
Oh, that looks sick.
Home run every time.
I'm a sucker for that, like in your face, everything's designed on purpose. It's beautiful.
I need to put that in a Grimgrin.
So I just love that. Sometimes being an artist is like you want like style is sort of like a spice, and so you kind of have to be careful when you're cooking. You can't dump all the spices in. So there's times when I want this spice, and there's times when I want different spices. So like a spice that I wouldn't use for myself would be the Mendicant Core Guidelight by I'm gonna butcher his name, is Zehu Chen. I didn't know that was a painted card, so it was up in the art market, and the zoomed in photos that he posted were amazing. It's a huge painting. So
jeez.
So normally the way that paintings are best made is painted big, and then they look amazing painted small, because everything kind of comes together. Market wise, no one wants our 18 by 24s anymore. So I've kind of moved to 16 by 20 and smaller, except for every once in a while I just gotta paint it. It needs to be painted bigger.
I can't believe that that's a painting.
It looks like NES box art, and I mean that complimentary. Like if you told me
like
that was
the
old
OG
school
Mega Man box art,
right? If you told me this was like an old Nintendo mecha game, I would believe you. Like ride in the tank, go pew pew pew, and I'm like, oh yeah, that looks sick.
So
I would have totally rented that.
I am not painting mechs and mechanical things is just not my jam, but I appreciate it. I can really appreciate it.
Excellent. I do just want to stop us for 1 second. Sorry to pump the brakes on this. Thank you, Magic Nishimigo, for a massive donation, $100 donation in chat. Thank you so much.
Damn.
Very generous. The Trevor Project thanks you for your donation as well. But that puts us up over our first goal of $300, up to $380 right now. We'll be pushing towards $500, where we'll be adding the third artist proof from Aaron into the draw pool as well. So let's get us to that $500, folks, because we got even more stuff to give away at the end of the night. Fantastic.
Awesome. Thanks.
Sorry, Aaron, back to you and some of your favorite arts.
Oh, I'll throw another fun one into Captain Howler's Sea Scourge by the Mirko Filoni. I think I said it right. Probably not.
That card looks sick.
Yeah, it's great.
It's beautiful. It's just the design, the contrast, the design. I love that hand. I love those little tiny fat fingers. It's spices that like I don't know how to control for myself. But when I get it right, I'm like, yay. Let's see, River Pyre Verge. It's kind of.
I love all of the Verges, by the way. They're some of my favorite land arts. Yeah,
it's the full border Justin Sweet. I'm a sucker for it. I just love Justin Sweet's work. I'm sure he'll there.
That one?
There's so much art in this.
Yeah.
So again, it's like the color palette just really, it's that like, I don't know, it's like that warm library with a fireplace and your hot cocoa waiting.
I just like the way the triangle looks there. It looks really, really cool.
Just the design's beautiful, the color palette's great. It's just I love it.
Also, Fibblethip's in there, as Misha said in chat.
I mean, like again, I didn't zoom in. This is a zoomed out. Like if I saw this across the room in a museum, I'm rushing over.
Very cool. I like the concept of the Verges, like the art concept for the Verges. It's interesting because we saw them in Duskmorn as the Verges, and they were the doorways that were opening up to different landscapes, and now they're the gateways, the omen paths opening up to different landscapes.
Why the ones that, like the one that I worked on that has a big circle, and I'm like, I don't know, that's the way they told me to paint it.
Yeah.
So
each of the gates looks different based on whether it's a permanent gate, whether it's a temporary gate, or whether it's like a semi-permanent gate. And there was like a whole design language based around that in the World Guide and like the ideas of it. I don't remember which is which.
Well, this is the one they told me to use on Rowan Rush.
I think it looks sick.
It was a very, very, very difficult card. It didn't. This one would actually be interesting to see what you guys think. Is from the artist. Everything. When I shared it with everyone, they're like, "That's a spell card," based on how we interpret images and things in the images. The things that we focus on. Like we could zoom in, and it becomes an artifact. We zoom out, it becomes a creature. We zoom way out, and it becomes a spell. You could take one piece of art and it could change how you as a player instantly recognize it and like, this has a creature in it and a spell is happening. So it was like, how is this going to be interpreted as a land card? And
if you told me that this is a spell which like teleports a creature to another place or like, back to your hand or whatever, I would believe you, because it's like you're opening a portal and the thing is going through. It does read land because I get the big landscapey vibe to it, but I think it's something about the Verges just as a cycle. All of them feel a little on the border because they're all doorways to go somewhere.
Right.
So it's, I don't know.
I mean, there's nothing I can do about it, but that's just the challenge that I ran into trying to paint. Plus it's like, make sure you focus on the mouse in the giant landscape for a land card. So that was also very difficult to rein in brand new plane that no one's ever visited so that you recognize where you're at. But I also have to zoom in into, a portion of the landscape that is going to be. So it was very, very, very stressful at times.
But the finished product looks fantastic. Absolutely does. I think we can all agree.
Once I found my omen path, all the work is in the sketching and the design.
Awesome. All right.
I think I really like seeing lands displayed in like unusual ways, in a way that we kind of just don't expect it, right? Normally when we look at our lands, I mean, you have a landscape, and it's like every land is a landscape, and it's just showing what's in the plane, and it's nice to see something just presented in a slightly different way. You can just enjoy it a little bit more.
That's good to hear. I'm just glad that everyone is cool with it and not like, it's not a land card. So like, whew. Because sometimes, even though we don't have anything to do with anything around it, sometimes we bear the brunt of it. People come to our table and yell at the artist for.
Really?
Oh, why?
Oh.
It just people don't know. They want to express themselves, and the only person available at an event is going to be the artist. The designers aren't going to.
Let me tell you, I understand.
Yeah.
I know exactly what it's like to be fully responsible for somebody else's commander problem.
I want to throw out one last card that I
throw out 30
really
last cards, man.
hit me was the Calaxian Hunger Tyrant. I'm not really sure how to say that.
Call him Jim.
The John Tiedick one. Yeah, it's just that contrast is the thing that hits you so hard, and that beautiful like non-pink red mouth that we're used to, because sometimes like these alligators, when they open their mouth, it's not the colors you expect. So I just love the color palette and that black maw. Like, you're going in if
bad things are coming out.
Going into the void, like
you're gone. That maw is deep.
There's no coming back out.
Yeah, this artist did a lot of the works for the dinosaurs and the recent set.
Yeah, that's
caves.
Yeah. The only thing I just don't know if sometimes cards that are printed or handed in dark print even darker. So hopefully it prints nice.
Yeah.
It's just sad sometimes to have a beautiful piece of art that got printed so dark you don't get to see all the good stuff.
This one looks like it really pops, which is great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well,
I could just keep going on and on what I love.
Thanks for calling
you guys to tell me. I want to see what you guys like.
Fantastic. And why don't we turn it over to you, Maddy, to let us know some of your favorite arts from the set too.
I had a really hard time not just making a massive, massive list, but I still have a pretty big list. So the first one that I really liked is Riptide Gearhulk, but it's like the gold, what are they called? First place foils?
Yeah.
Yes. I like mechs. I like really bold, like illustrative kind of designs. I like the colors. For me, this is like probably my favorite artwork in the set. So one of my favorite things when we get into kind of like these alternate foils and stuff like that, we get to see a lot of different artists that are not normally contracted by WotC. So for some people, it's going to be their first time maybe illustrating something. And I don't know, you just get to see something really different. So I also really like the Japanese showcase cards. I think Luke is super cute. That is on my list of favorite cards. I really like Cat Dirty. I think the first time we saw Cat Dirty, I don't even know if it was the first time, was the Magic 30th anniversary. It was like the secret layer that you could buy that had like one card from every year. And he did the Siege Rhino, and Siege Rhino was super sick. And hang on, I'm scrolling down to the art here. So we have like Mindspring Merfolk that he did, or like Waxen Shape Thief. And it's just like super illustrative, really bright colors. it reminds me a lot of Ren and Stimpy, which I love it. So, and I think like
Ren and Stimpy.
Bulwark Ox is a really good example. I look at that and I'm like, yeah, Ren and Stimpy. So, oh, it's got to be the other one, the gold one.
Yeah, the Rude Riders.
Yeah, that
There you
one.
go. Yeah.
That's sweet. I also really like, I think it's District Mascot.
Yeah, I cracked one of those speed demons.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's sweet.
yeah,
Those
whatever.
are fun. I would have loved to have had an opportunity to try one of those. But that is
Yeah.
very, again, that's a spice. That's a very specific way of illustrating.
Yes.
Would have been
Yeah. When I see these bright colors, it's just so different from what we're normally seeing. And so it just like really gets the good brain juice flowing for me. I like that a lot. If we look at some of the more traditional stuff, I really liked Svetlin Velenov's Market Backwalker.
Yes,
It's super
that was going to
pretty.
be one of my choices too.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
I'm
that's
gonna try to not name
It's a
everything.
whole plane onto like in the back
It's
of that
so
machine.
good. Yeah, and I really like Sheffet Archfiend by God Machine. It's a black card. Where is it? There it is. He does like art for Metallica,
Ooh.
and it's just like it's so metal. Really
It
like
feels
it.
like classic Magic art.
It does. But yeah, with kind of like a modern twist, it's like, yeah, it's really good. I like the colors. It's like, it's really dark. It's good, like representative of black to me. How many more cards can I list?
Let's go with a couple more.
Can we do,
please.
okay, let's do one more. Boommobile by Ian Jepson is also one of my favorites. Or we could talk about the Akira Chandra. That's super sick. Okay, but this is so good. Look at the face.
Yeah.
On the vehicle. That's like awesome. Really like that. So
The eyes and the teeth grill on that one. Fantastic.
love
That's
it. All right, I'll stop there though.
No, so
Like, I could
excellent
just-
call out.
yeah,
It's
go
great art
forever, so.
in this set for sure. Yawg, how about you? How about some of your favorite arts in the set?
Sure, I'll keep it pretty brief. I have a couple that really stood out to me. The first being the last ride. It's the Death Burger
I love Death Burger
treatment.
too.
Going back to
Burger.
That was on my
Burger,
list
it's the
too.
name of the artist. Yeah, it's going back to what Aaron was saying about contrast. Like, this is a card that is just, I mean, you can see the gold version there, but even the regular version, like this purple or pink, that really just pops that blue right out of the page there. It's just really, really clean looking. I really like that.
More pink in Magic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's a.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually a few of us that try and put as much pink as we can in our cards. I have a lot of pink in a lot of my cards.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
good. We need it.
Secondary here, the Ketchermost New Dawn, the sort of the full art treatment by Florian Bertmere. This with all this sort of like graffiti background is like really
Yes.
cool.
This
Really,
one's on my list too. I
Yeah, it's
love
just-
this one.
I saw this. I got a foil version of this, and it popped out, and I was like, "This is something different. This is something new. It's something really cool." So I really enjoyed this one.
Very cool. Yeah, I like this one too. This one's definitely on my top list too. It's
That
great.
whole kind of style of all the graffiti ones
The
is just
graffiti.
sick.
Absolutely. Shivam, how about you? How about some of your favorites?
So I have a handful here, but I'll be able to go through them pretty quickly. But I think I want to start off with the island and the forest that were the Leon Tucker's ones that were the Kaladesh forest. I think the Avishkar forest. Could they basically show you a different angle of Girapur that is just beautiful? I love the setting. I love the filigree work of the city, and I just think like these lands just look like they're so pretty. People always like love full art lands and stuff, but I think some of the best land art has been done on the half ones. Like I don't know, the forest especially here is just like, I want that in my house. You know, like the thing looks so sick. These both feel like places that you could draw mana out of, which is a big deal to me because a lot of lands forget that they're supposed to be sources of energy. And like, I think a land should look like a place that you want to tap into, draw your energy out of to be able to cast spells with, because this is Magic. It's what we do.
Yeah.
I also
These
wanted
strike me very much like the Ravnica lands as well, that are cityscapes in the
Yes.
non-full art versions too.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't really like cityscape lands just because it feels too human based. But these ones struck me because they have such a vibe to them.
Yeah.
Similarly, Windscarred Crag, which is just so like it's not a land that I would have ever thought of putting in on my list, but dude, it's a light cycle going through meteors. This is like the sickest. It looks like a video game. It looks like Tron. It looks like Final Fantasy. It looks like this is. I want to know what's happening here. This world looks awesome. It's like it's just so cool and so energetic for a land. Like I love that, and the light cycle also looks just killer. Relatedly, Country Roads, take me home because you have to. Because dude, look at this. It's a big giant highway with a jump. How sick is that?
It's
How
it's
sick
the
is that? That's so
last
cool.
bus scene in
It's
Speed.
like,
A lot of good movement in that piece.
oh yeah, dude. And it also still has the plainsness to it, so it's like you still feel like you're in a kind of place, a spiritual place that also has the sickest jump you've ever seen. And then let's see here. I wanted to call out Thopter Fabricator by William Tempest. That's a full art graffiti looking one. Yeah, dude. Because first off, this is cool because we were able to bring Loxodon into Avishkar because they didn't do it before because they were a little cautious about wanting to have animalistic people and in an Indian inspired setting. And I was like, look, if you make them look like elephants and not like gods, I think you'll be okay. So getting them to bring Loxodon in just feels like kind of a personal bit of a triumph to me. But also, that guy looks like the hardest dude you've ever seen in your life, hanging out next to this, like just Thopter being built. It's like when you go to like one of those car shops and you see the people are just like working on the thing and tricking it out, and the guy's just standing there going like, "Yeah."
Right.
And you're like,
Mhm.
I am never messing with you because you would kill me. But also, the dude just looks cool. Like he is in his happy spot. He is living moisturized in his zone, repping whatever he's got going on. This art just it takes you to a place and it tells a story. Like those are my favorite arts. The ones that you can look at and be like Vincent. Like my favorite art in all of Magic is from the original Magic Origins, Vincent Proce's Guardian Automaton, which is just literally a little girl and a filigree dude standing next to her, but it is an entire RPG setting in one tiny little card. You're like, who are these people? What's going on? Let me tell every story here. Similarly, that Thopter Foundry gives me a story that I want to tell. I want to know what's happening here. I want to know who that dude is. Grand Theft Auto Girapur, let's go. You know. And my last one is Sahili from the face art of the Commander deck. I don't remember what her appendage is. You guys were talking about pink earlier. This is the least Magic card looking Magic card I've seen in a hot minute because it is purple and green and these gorgeous, vibrant pastels. And then she's got, Hotly Ordney that's hanging over her shoulder. And I'm like, this is so sick.
Yeah.
This is probably my favorite art in the whole set because it's got motion, it's got life, you can see her doing this dance to summon this energy here. You can see the representation of her girlfriend with the green Ordney stole, the feathers coming out the side. Her face looks like a real human Indian's face. It looks like somebody you could actually see walking around in the city. And I don't know, dude, this is just like, I was like, this is how I know that they understood the brief.
Yeah.
This is like exactly what I wanted to see, and it is insanely good.
Very good. Yeah, absolutely love it. Love the colors. More of these pinks and purples and
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, like the glowing.
Looks so
blue.
rad. Look at that. And it even feels like her mana cost, right? Green, blue, and red. Like, come on, let's go.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
don't know, I think
absolutely.
it looks awesome.
Well, thanks, Shivam. Clay, how about you? Your favorite arts from the set?
Oh boy, is this a difficult task to pare down. I said in the chat real quick to my brother that I like the full art lands, that perspective behind the wheels. It's like just such a unique to this set perspective, and that like you can feel which vehicles or which like teams by the colors and stuff. I just think that's a neat thing. I think that anytime they use the full arts to like do something like that is just cool. and as I'm a known like lover of full art lands and using as many different ones as possible in my decks. So then I also have Diversion Unit, which is cute. The flavor text is perfect. This was actually the one that made me think I want to be on like the Guidelight team, like root for that team, right? Like declarative, goodbye, but it's sad counter spell like that. That's just cute and fun with the little sad face on it. This one is not like a pandering. When I saw it in the story, I was so excited for it, and then today when I was pulling it up, I saw that it was Aaron. But Hour of Victory is a really cool homage to the Amonkhet and Hour of Devastation, Hour of Spells, and like this celebration of this moment for Amonkhet, their celebration, the hippos in the background. It's just, I love it from an emotional standpoint. The story spotlight cards are always cool to me. All of our Buddy Schmanders vehicle arts and stuff, super cool. And like the colors we don't always see in. Don't
Schmandrew rules. I have no bias about it. I might not have an art of his hanging directly behind me. That was knit by one of my fans. Yes.
They are super cool. And then I just go on and on and on and on. But I did want to give a nod to the Commander Precons, the reskinning of some of the cards for Amonkhet, like Zombie Master is incredible. That's one of my favorite all-time Magic cards. Just full stop. It's so cool. And then the last one, I'll wrap it up. But
dude, Swamp Walk, walking on the hands of the zombies. Come on.
Yeah, that's
like
so
it's
cool.
It doesn't get cooler than that. And then finally a new card in that precon, the full art for On Wings of Gold. Like you talk about, Shivam was talking about seeing a card and like having a world built in that card and wanting to know that story and wanting more of that. These people, talking about the zombies and humans living side by side. The zombies are now policing the edge of the Nectamoon that Kefnet previously guarded. So like them doing an homage to him by giving the wings, like all of that is just so cool. And the art is beautiful. It's just all in all, the commander, the precons, the full set, everything. This is probably top to bottom one of my favorite art sets in Magic, period.
Fantastic. Yeah. I some of my favorite arts have already been mentioned here, and we'll talk about some of the treatments as well that I'm a big fan of too. But I really like the full art version of Captain Howler, by the way. The full art version specifically looks so badass. Like that looks like, look at that. Like these depictions of the they're called the Seto somethings. Like they gave them a name. This the shark people. They gave them a specific name that I'm failing to recall. But the depictions that we're getting of them, and we've seen more and more of them from Foundations and now here in Aetherdrift, I think their depictions are gnarly, and I absolutely love them. It's absolutely fantastic, and I'm terrified of sharks. So I like to see more and more of them. Yawg, something to add?
Just going off the shark a bit, one of the special guest cards really stood out to me. It's the Galvanic Blast special guest, because it's one of those photographs of like a little diorama. There was a whole secret layer that was based around that, and the artist, I think, just does a really at first glance you may not even notice it, but it's like an actual physical 3D thing.
I had no idea.
Yeah, it's just really cool. I thought it was a fun thing to mention.
Oh, fantastic. Clay, something to add to that?
Yeah, just real quick, because I forgot about the special guests. The Cavalier of Dawn special guest card, I gasped when I saw it. That it's such a, and I love the Cavalier cycle. I love Cavalier Dawn specifically, but that,
so weird.
It's so weird, but it's so
weird,
so cool at the same time.
The son from Teletubbies grew up into this thing.
Exactly. It's messed up, and in the best way. I love it.
No, that's a hard pass from Shivam on that
Yeah,
one.
like the original Cavalier of Dawn is like amazing. This dude is just the way he's kind of bent over and just like, hey guys, I'm like, oh no, nothing.
The dripping spear and the little dagger.
Everything about this is just.
Why is he wearing like a suit of sorts? Like,
why is it a striped suit? What? Yeah, no, I'm.
So many questions. So many questions.
Oh, fantastic.
How is he a cavalier? What?
I do want to say, folks, we have hit our $500 goal thanks to an anonymous
Yay.
$100 donation. Thank you for everyone's generosity tonight. That is, we have plenty of additional stretch goals. For every extra 100 we raise, we're going to add another pre-con to the giveaway as well. But we hitting 500 have added our third signed artist proof to the draw as well. There's still plenty of time to donate. If you hit command donate in chat and donate in $5 increments, you'll be added to the draw for the end of tonight. We also do have some questions coming in for our Q&A at the end of the session too. But if you want to ask anything of our panel, remember to redeem that ask a question channel point redemption too. So we talked about some of our favorite art. And in there came up some of these special treatments we have in the set, whether it be the golden first place foil treatment or the revved up treatments, the Rude Riders treatments, or these graffiti giant treatments in here. Some of these are pretty divisive, though. It seems like, yeah, a lot of people are divided on the first place foil finishes as well, with some people saying they're far too yellow to be taken seriously, and the Rude Riders, the hot rod arts, some folks just bounce off of as well, where people like myself absolutely love them. But what do we feel about these treatments? Are there ones that you prefer? Are there ones that bounce off of you that aren't your style? What do you feel about some of these treatments? Yawg, why don't we start with you?
Sure. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion on things. But I just don't understand people that don't get don't like the Rude Riders. Just have a little whimsy in your life. Have a little fun, like maybe that doesn't look exactly like all Magic cards or whatever, but it's just they're so wacky and just different that I just love those things. They're goofy as all hell. Speaking on the gold first place foils, I think they look really cool in person. Like, to see them in person, it's definitely, I think that's going to change some people's minds, because once the set comes out, because when you see them in person, they really shine on certain arts, like
shine.
They really shine on certain arts. It really accents the art itself. Like, some of them not so much, but when that gold really blends well with the other elements of the art itself, like, oh, it's real clean looking.
Right on. I can't wait to see them in person. I don't think that these images do them justice.
No, not at all. Sure. Not at all.
They look like pee in the images. They look really good in real life.
Yeah. I know Vince made an entire video about.
Of course he did. Why wouldn't he make videos of pee?
Of course.
Do players have any issues with because when you're putting down a card, usually if it's blue, it's a blue card. If it's black,
that is a valid criticism.
It's a legitimate
playability issue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we had recently, there was what was that other treatment from? The stupid ones from OTJ, the ones that look like criminal posters.
Oh, I
the
like
wanted
those.
poster ones. Yeah, those were really hard to discern coloration of the card because every frame looked exactly the same. But like, it's Magic. Our cards look like everything.
Yeah. Maddy, your thought on these treatments? Any you liked, any you disengaged with?
So I really like the first place foils, but when I look at them, I'm like, is this a Pokemon card? Right? Like, the old style Pokemon cards have gold borders like this. But I appreciate that they're starting to experiment with foil types a little bit. It makes it harder for people like me that alter Magic cards, but I appreciate the creativity.
I guess they're allowed to alter cards too.
Yes, they are. I like the idea of the graffiti ones that they did, but it feels a little bit lost on me when I look at them. Like I don't necessarily, and maybe I'm looking at Scryfall, but the only one to me that looks like a graffiti card is the Coal Stoke Gear Hulk, and the rest of them it just kind of blends in.
Yeah.
So that I think they could have done a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
I also like, what are they called? The fracture foils. Those things are weird.
Mm.
Yeah.
Those look like you should be able to peel them off and stick them on your Trapper Keeper.
Yeah, I love that.
Or whatever kids call them these days.
Right? Yeah.
The front of their MacBooks. That's what
Yeah.
they're called these days, yeah.
The Chromebooks,
Stanley
please don't be
tumbler.
buying MacBooks for kids.
Just like angle it a certain way, I can like blind my opponent. There you go.
Excellent. Well, Aaron, what do you think about some of these treatments? You probably don't get briefed on how they're going to appear in the set or these treatments that are going to be given to them, but something like your...
I just want to get all the options as proofs.
Yes.
Well, partially, it helps if we have proofs that people actually want. So, like, I would have loved to have had Ripple Foil, Kenrith.
Oh yeah,
that would have been very nice to have had. I did get a set that did have some different options, so that was kind of cool. But the one thing that I'll say about any of these different options that always brings me back to it's just something that I don't know how many people really notice it from like the 1,000-mile view, as someone who just is sometimes during the old versions of play, like when everyone's playing during the round, we're artists, we're just sitting there with nothing to do, so we're watching everyone play. But the thing that always comes to mind is that there's a room full of people playing together in person. And so that's always been a really cool thing to me, is that you're right there with friends, new friends, just people. You're right there. So whatever card treatment you don't like, you have that opportunity to trade it with a friend to get the one that you do. And this is a trading card game. It just gives you that opportunity to have that fun time of like, hey, I've got these few that I'm willing to trade. Yeah. So that part, I would hope that whatever you don't like, just embrace trading and to get the one that you do. Have some fun.
Fantastic. Yeah, great point, Aaron. Great point. Yawg, you had something to add.
Yeah, I just had a question for Aaron about the first place foils. Did they consult you? Because I know in the difference between the regular art and the first place foil, they changed the art a little because they made some of the elements gold.
The colors and stuff to make
I was just about to ask the same question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, we don't. I personally wouldn't get involved with that, because that would be adding a level of work that sometimes it's like asking an artist in these jobs can we have these things on separate layers? Mm-hmm. That is an entire process that any company that asks for that is trying to get it for free that normally would pay for it.
Right.
So I would have said no, or I need to get paid for that. That's going to be another line item on an invoice, and I'm going to charge you a design fee for that, because that is right. Not what we should just be asked to do.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I was curious about that, because I don't know if some people have issues with people changing their arts, I'm sure that's all built into the contract.
Yeah, they own it. They can do anything they want.
Yeah, because I was thinking about the Willow Verge, the Willow whatever Verge that you drew, because they blanked out a lot of it, but left the portal kind of open and colored. I think the lands in this format look really striking and cool, but I could also see how it would be irritating if you went to. Well, I mean, the fact that they still release the original artwork as a normal land and this is just a bonus one. So, I mean, I guess I don't know how do you feel about it? But I think it looks kind of sick.
I'd be fine with it. Again, it's like if you didn't like it, then trade it for the other one.
Yeah, fair.
You know, like
Reasonable.
even if this one, like I know that there's a lot of things tied up in like, well, this one's worth more, but just get the one that you want. You know,
Basically.
Yeah, great lesson. I think the first place finish on this Willow Rush Verge, at very least in the digital art preview version of it here, looks like it obliterates a lot of the art element.
yeah,
to
I'm
it.
sure it's gonna be like a lot of gold, and it's probably gonna look pretty cool in
I'm
your
sure
hand.
in person it looks a lot better than the digital representation of
I
this.
hope I get some proofs. That's the first thing I thought. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
will I get some proofs of this?
Yeah.
Oh, that would be sick.
That'd be
For
awesome.
real. Absolutely. Shivam, how do you feel about the treatments? The first place, Revda, Rude Riders, Graffiti Giant.
I'm pretty indifferent to most of them. I think the graffiti one, I think I'm just like looking through this, like I'm not a big fan of the Rude Rider style. The graffiti ones, some of the gods look cool. Some of them just look like the artist didn't quite understand what was going on. In this set particularly, I really like the revved up ones. Like I could have put all of them on my list of cool cards. But broadly speaking, I think personalization of your deck is the coolest part of Magic.
Yeah.
And having infinite choices to personalize your deck with is cool. So if I don't like the treatments in any given set, whatever. The only time I get annoyed about it is if there's a card that I've been waiting for a long time for a reprint to show up, and it shows up in a style that I am not keen on, then I'm like, come on, that's not fair. But like, whatever, dude. Like, there's a lot of people who like this weird kind of Americana tattoo, rude boys car stuff. Happy birthday. You're welcome to it. Like, they're not like my taste was in the cool gold bordered, copper border inventions, right? Not everybody loved those, but like they were for me. So if there's something, if there's like a style that I don't dig, 10 seconds later, Magic will have 38 new sets and they will all have a different style and I'll be fine. Like, whatever.
Just wait till the next time they inevitably reprint the card.
Right. Like, who cares, man? Like, everything's fine.
Fantastic. Clay, how do you feel about some of these treatments? Any preferences, any you don't jive with?
So as the like known advocate for like alternate arts and different styles and stuff, I feel like every roundtable I come on and I'm just like, I love this. The Rough Riders is, I think it's neat. It's not particularly like an aesthetic that I personally like seek out or enjoy, but like it's cool. It's weird to get something new and fun like that.
Yeah, I'm glad it exists. Great.
Yeah, exactly. I was waiting. I guess I'm waiting for the first place foils just because of how it looks digitally is not great for me, but I'm glad to hear that they look really cool in person. I was hoping that that'd be the case.
Having seen them, they look very cool in person.
Love that. And then the graffiti giants and the vehicles, the revved up arts, those styles. I'm usually really good about not swearing on these roundtables. Those fuck. They are incredible, and they are absolutely like what I want them capturing these aesthetics that resonate with the set and evoke this thing and bring these really bright colors and just this completely different vision to the game. And especially like to Shivan's point about the ability to customize your deck and your own aesthetic and like embrace these things. I think that those do a perfect job of introducing these styles in a way that evoke something new and something different. And then the Japanese guest cards are really they're like really neat. But I find that like typically those are probably the hardest cards for me to read, at least digitally. I think that the text style that they do on those, the text box kind of being missed, like there's just something about it that makes it hard for me to read the cards physically, but I still really like the styles. So yeah, no, I like I said, I think the art in this set is incredible, and I think the alternative arts that they used were just home runs.
It's the drop shadow on the text box text on these that makes it just indecipherable from a distance. It's rough
What
to
the
read
hell?
here.
I'm sorry, totally didn't mean to just. I was looking through Skyfall for some style things, and I just realized that there's a new secret layer coming up with Jesper Eising and some of the other people. And I was looking, and one of the secret layers that they're putting out is featuring the art of Luke Pearson, who is the guy who did the art behind Hilda, which is one of my favorite cartoon/comics to read with my son.
Yeah.
So I apologize. I totally just was like, wait, whoa, what? It looks so sick. Oh my God, it looks so sick. I'm going to need to buy like multiples of this because my son loves Hilda. And
I also love Hilda.
oh my God, dude.
Do I own them? 100%.
You need to, okay, I'm just going to hijack your stream for 10 seconds. Pull up the Bear Umbra from that secret layer. Onegaishimasu. Bear Umbra, first off, one of my all-time favorite cards. Wins in like my Magic deck and my blah blah deck and whatever decks. Look at it! It's literally Hilda. It's literally Hilda in a Bear
That's
Umbra.
awesome.
Are you kidding me? This is the greatest thing ever. Hilda is one of the coolest cartoons ever. If you haven't seen it, you absolutely must. It is 100% delightful. Okay, sorry. You can.
No, all good.
Carry
We love
on.
joy around here.
Oh my God, dude! I am so stoked. I can't believe this.
Awesome.
I did not expect that. I apologize.
Well, just before we move on to our favorite cards in the set, I do want to remind everybody that donations will be closing in 5 minutes at this point before we do the draws for the winners. So remember to donate if you want to get in the running for any of our prizes. At this point, we have hit the $500 mark. If we do hit the $600 mark, we will throw in one more pre-con for the draw as well. So do donate in chat in $5 increments to get your name in that draw. We'll be doing Q&A in just a moment as well after we talk about some of our favorite cards. So I do want to pass it around to our panelists for some of our favorite cards in the set, not just our favorite arts, not just our favorite treatments, but what cards are you looking to put in decks? What cards are you looking to brew with? And I'm going to kick us off here with Waxen Shape Stealer on this one. Thank you very much, Gyruda Alert, even mana value clone.
Oh, yes.
On this one. Love it. And I love the Rude Rider art on this too. I am 100% going to try and get my hands on the foil, the first place foil version of it as well. I'm going to try everything that I can to get that version of it. I think it's sick. But that is hands down number one with a bullet card that I'm getting from this set. Absolutely love it. Clay, anything that you're eyeing from the new set? Favorite cards?
Yes. So I talked about it earlier, the new Samut card. I am fully intending to build that. I always love Naya decks, go wide engines. I've been messing around with building a deck that has like 15 to 20 different commander options in like, and then so running like the rest of them in the 99, but then just like, if I can get it up to 20, then I'll just like before every game roll a spin down, and then whichever one is it ends up. So like it might be Fabine, it might be, you know,
Jetmir, it might be Samut.
yeah, or it could be Sidar and Kedis. You know, I might throw some partners in there too. Just Kelith and Tana Bloodsword. You know, like just do that, go wide, and just have like it's the same deck, but like it wins in kind of different ways. Or like it just I think it would be fun, and I love building those kinds of decks. And then there is March of the World Ooze. I'd known Ooze lover, big time Ooze lover.
Is so much fun.
It's such a ridiculous card.
It
It's
worked
funny
for me
because I saw it. I was so excited going through the first line, and I started reading the second line, and I read elephant, and my brain glitched. And I went back up and read the first lines because I was like, maybe I misunderstood what we're doing here. But like the fact that it makes elephants, but it's perfect. I love it so much. This is like the meest card ever. And then for my last card, somebody on Blue Sky, and I cannot remember for the life of me now, tweeted or skeeted about
No,
we all went.
no.
sorry, I had to be the one. Light wheel enhancements. They posted about it and said, this is Gravecrawler. I haven't figured out how yet, but this is Gravecrawler. And so it's a one-mana enchantment that start your engines, and once you have max speed, you can cast from the graveyard. And so I'm currently working on an Alayla build in which you can go infinite with a bunch of different ways with like light wheel and enhancements. And so what you can do is there's like there's the new cards from Dustmorn that it's like if an enchantment goes to the graveyard, drain 1 life from your opponents and stuff. And so like using things like Ashnod's Altar, or not Ashnod, Phyrexian Altar, or there's just a bunch of different ways. And so I'm trying to build this deck because I couldn't get the idea out of my brain after I read it. And so I'm at like 55 cards out of the 100 right now in my head of just like, or on Moxfield of like, hey, this is what this deck's gonna look like. I don't even know if I'm gonna actually build it, but it's like a thought experiment of like, how do I Gravecrawler with a 1 mana enchantment? Is where I'm at.
Very cool. Love a puzzle to solve. Right. Shivam, how about some of your favorites from the set?
Well, honestly, like a lot of these cards are really fun to play limited, but I don't know that many of them would crack into my like environment of the kind of commander decks that I like to play or whatever. And for instance, I got the Ooze. It was one of the cards in my pre-release kit at the PPR. So I was like, all right, I'm awesome. This rules. But the cards I actually am going to go out of my way to get like a bunch of later is Elena Danner did a Avishkar style command tower that looks insane.
It's so pretty.
Oh my god, it looks completely insane, and I'm gonna buy like a whole mess of them to put into like all my decks. And like, dude, look at that tower. Look at that tower. Are you kidding me? Yeah, let's go. And then also similarly, there was the Swords to Plowshares, which actually has like a dude being in a plow and an ox and everything. I'm like, yeah, this looks sick. I want that. Basically, like, there's some art upgrades that I'm going to be doing to some of my cards because I think that some of these new like reprint arts that they gave are just unbelievably sick. As far as the new card that I want to get Aetherflux Conduit, but since I already have the deck, I kind of don't need to now because I already just have. Dude, I'm telling you guys, the Teamer Precon is out of the box exactly what I wanted to see for a Teamer energy deck.
Yep.
So I'm basically going to leave it alone, maybe shift out some counter spells because Shivam don't counter. But but like, dude, that stuff is, those cards are so sick. They're so sick. Oh, I know what I want. There is a dragon in this set, which is the dinosaur dragon with haste that like can be saddled or some crap like that. And when it saddles, it does 2 extra damage. So it's like, do you remember what was the dragon that you could exert in Amonkhet block that did extra damage?
Glorybringer, yeah.
Yeah, so imagine Glorybringer Light. This dude's a 4/4 flyer haste, and when it attacks with saddled, you can shock something. I discovered this card today during the streamer event, and I'm like, oh, I want this. This rules, and it's like an uncommon.
Yeah. Very good. Yeah, a 4/4 flying haste on its own is great.
Yeah, like I'm already here.
Yeah.
But the fact that you can just zap things is just like ridiculous.
Very cool. Very cool. Maddy, any cards you're looking forward to? Any favorites in the set?
Sure, I'll name 2. The first one I'd like to build is Culloden Triumph Gaster. It's the Boros mountain vehicles you control have haste, and when they enter, they become saddled or crewed until end of turn. I think that's really fun. I've really been wanting to build a vehicles deck, so I think I'm going to go there.
Nice.
And the second one that I'm excited about is Seat of Arma. I didn't think at first, so I'll rewind for a second. So my friend McKenna is the cosplayer for Seat of Arma, so she got to preview that card in Vegas last year.
Nice.
And it was very exciting. Nobody kind of knew that, they were going to be the main character of the set. So I think I'm excited to build it kind of as an homage to my friend that got to cosplay it.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
Great story there. Yeah, I remember this one from Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing work on the cosplay. Love to see the card actualized. It's great.
Great. Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. Thanks, Maddy. Aaron, any of your favorite cards from the set?
I kind of went over. Well, I don't know, but for me, it's is there an opportunity down the road to create a personal piece that I could? Because that's the whole token thing for me is, can I create a personal piece that would make me have fun sitting here painting something for myself.
Can you make Bossry have a cat soldier so that I can have all of my things at once? Like a little house cat with a sword or something?
Likely. I mean, I've done it. I've done the cat as an assassin already. I've added a few from a commission that was like a D&D thing that I had a lot of fun with. So it's always finding something that I can share that, something new and fun. And also because I'm slow, it's just like, I hope it hasn't gone so far that it like no one cares anymore.
Gotcha.
But that's
Then you
okay.
thought
I don't try to work at the speed of every set. I just want to paint things that I can enjoy. So
Great. Fantastic. Thanks, Aaron. Yawg, any favorite cards from the set?
Sure. Yeah, a couple of things stood out to me. Like I said earlier, I'm a big artifact guy from Mirrodin there. So repurposing Bay just seems like a real useful utility artifact to throw in any sort of artifact deck. And it's got really cool art. And then Curse, besides artifacts, I'm also into the zombie life. So Curse Cloth Wrappings, I think, is just going to be a great utility card. Another artifact that gives you just reanimate on a stick, basically. I mean, working out of the graveyard. I mean, you got to pay the mana cost, but, that's fine. So I love that. And then the thing I'm trying to build, or that I did build, and that I'm most excited for, and I won't shut up about online, is Hashaton, the new secondary face commander for the precon.
A lot of folks excited about this one.
Such an incredible card, and you can take it in so many different directions and do so many fun things with it. And it's renewed my love for zombies, and I can't wait to play it at Chicago.
Nice. Very cool. Can't wait to see the deck in Chicago. That's for sure. Just before we move on to our Q&A and then our draw winners, I do want to give a shout out to Tune Up in the set. I think that it's hilarious that there's just a card named Tune Up in the set, and I think I have to buy like 100 of these.
Yeah, I feel like that's got to be just your signature card now.
Yeah, right? I think I just have to give these out to everyone. Yeah. And the fact that it's got the etched foil treatment to it too, like it's one of the game day promos that shops are going to be giving away, is one that I've got to get my hands on some of these, a stack of these, and just bring them to Chicago with me and toss them out all over the place. So we will be doing a Q&A and then our draw winners. I want to start off with a question for Aaron.
Sure.
From JG Mickey in chat. Was there a standout, interesting or amusing piece of art direction that you were given for the set?
So I was inspired to talk about it earlier, but I was like, maybe it's not the right time. But Hour of Victory, that's what it's called, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That card looks cool.
There's almost 90% of the cards have a different name than what comes out. So I spend so much time with its old name that when it takes a long time for the new one to kind of like settle in. So every once in a while, I'll say the wrong name because there's the original. Anyway, so this card was commissioned, and they have different like waves. So this was a second wave. So I had already worked on the Willow Rush, and so I had seen the World Guide, and so I sent in to my art director screen grabs of all the stuff I wanted to paint, or just because they like to know, like, what do you want to paint aside from everything or all the good cards. I just kind of sent in a whole bunch of things that I thought would be cool to paint, and then I got our victory, which seemed like was like, I'm going to take all of the things and put them into one. And I was like, oh, that's kind of not what I was talking about, but here we are. So it was a very stressful. I seem to get a lot of cards that present a lot of design or challenges that are very difficult to pull off, and there are times like I just want to do the cool dude, you know. So I am constantly challenged by my art directors. And I hope I'm pulling these things off. It was a lot of, it was fun because I wanted to paint those griffins, so at least I got the little head. You know, the hippos, I had sent those in, so I got to focus on those because I thought that was such a fun chariot idea. It was just these running hippos.
Very cool.
So yeah, that was kind of fun.
Yeah, all of your pieces look incredible. They absolutely do. So you did
and
a
I
great
threw
job.
in some of the named characters to see if I can get myself a named character card. And it's like, oh, well, I got them, but they're
Finger on the monkey's paw. Curl.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to like. There are so many cards. If you look back, like I actually got some really cool character, but it's not on their card. Like this one, I got like the winners are those are like commanders. Previously, I got loot, but he's on a land.
Yeah.
Or in Duskborn, I got the little kid in his pet monster as the token. So I'm not going to complain. It's not like I complain. It's just I find it funny that these are just fun little stories. That like the victory was like everything I wanted to do in one, but that's not kind of how I really want to approach.
Got it. No, interesting background. Thanks for sharing that, Aaron. Thanks for asking the question, JJ. We're going to rapid fire the next couple of questions, then announce our winners. I want everybody to stick around because we are going to be rating our friend Tappy Toe Claws once again. We're going to send everybody back over.
We love a tap.
But let's get into some of our other questions. Cyrone asked, is there a specific racing concept or reference that you would have liked included that wasn't included in the set? Pit stops or references to other racing concepts?
Yeah, I can jump in there.
Yeah.
I know they sort of touched on like the Mad Maxiness of that one plane, but maybe like a lone wanderer type character, or like road warrior type character.
Like, that was the really 80s movie that I always think of when you say Death Race. It's
so like maybe like a little nod. I know there's general theming nods to that, but like an actual road warrior.
A toe cutter or a master blaster or some kind of reference in this, right? Yeah. Perfect. Maddy, any references you would have liked to have seen that weren't included in the set?
Off the top of my head, I have no idea.
Perfect. No problem.
I got a lot of attention to racing, so.
Got it. Aaron, any references off the top of your head you would have liked to have seen?
My absolute favorite racing game is Burnout. So something like that would have been. I don't know how. I'm sure that there. I mean, you could probably mash up something, but so that just means that it needed a soundtrack.
Right. Oh, perfect. Shivam, any references you would have liked to have seen in the set? Oh, you're muted, my friend.
I thought the Mario Kart reference was already too much, and I mean, whatever. Not even that, but the daring mechanic, the blue shell, but the daring mechanic literally being Jason Sudeikis from the soccer show on Apple that everybody watches, looking like Mario hanging off the side of the car.
It does look like Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso,
crazy.
yeah.
Ted Lasso, thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would have liked to have seen a Metallica reference to fuel, or like even just like some guy changing the tires on these things, like a pit stop or something. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm glad they didn't go with the easy Fast and Furious at least.
Right. Well, we're gonna save that for Aetherdrift 2 when we go to Kamigawa. Right? Because the sequel's got to be Kamigawa Drift. Yeah. Clay, any references you would have liked to have seen?
Flavorfully, I don't know if I missed it, and if there was one, but like speed, which is not necessarily a racing thing, but like just the idea of the runaway, like the vehicle that can't slow down or stop. Like I was thinking about I think it's in Kaladesh, Runaway Freighter is kind of like that. So that kind of thing, and then mechanically a card with and I don't know how this works and how you would do this, but like, so in racing, right, there's the concept of drafting. And so you, by staying behind other vehicles, you let them do the work and then you slide by, right? So like maybe that could be used to do like the white effect of if an opponent has more lands than you can go get a land, like that kind of thing. Like mechanically, I thought like that would have been a neat reference.
I think if they had done anything called drafting, it would have been very, very confusing.
You could capture it with a nod, right? You don't have to just call it.
I mean, they could also talk about your sealant gaskets for your the pod racing for your commander.
That's it. Pod racing. There was the old pod racing computer game.
That game
That's what I needed a reference to.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Nice. All right. Next
your
question.
Vintage jalopies. The nice legacy. I can do this all day.
Next question up. Again, we're going to rapid fire this. Is there another sport or leisure activity that would make a good theme for a set in the future? This
Mario
is another
Golf.
one from Cyrone. Sorry, Shivam. Golf?
Mario Golf.
Mario Golf.
Specifically.
I immediately, when I saw this question, thought of the Strixhaven sport that they came up with and having some kind of like multi-planar tournament of
Quidditch?
Of the like the not Quidditch kind of thing. Yeah. That would make for like a good sports themed set kind of thing, and allow competitors from across the multiverse as well. Anyone with any topics, any ideas off the top?
If we get a nod to Blitzball in the Final Fantasy set of like, the Planeswalkers playing Blitzball against each other, I'll be very excited.
Yeah. We're going to get a reskin Strixhaven Stadium as Blitzball Stadium in a secret layer. Guarantee it. Like,
if we don't, I will riot.
Double down on that one.
I love Blitzball so much.
Clay, do we want a basketball plane?
Okay, so I was thinking of something else, but yes, I need a basketball plane. But also, I just want like the Olympics.
Yeah,
I was just about to say the Olympics was
fun. That'd be fun.
A series of events, which then
like bring back Theros.
Yeah.
Right. They had a saga that was the Olympics in the first Theros.
Right.
But you know that Aetherdrift's playtest name was tennis. So where's my tennis? I would love to see one-on-one bopping back and forth.
It just always makes me think of it's like Virtual Fighter when they would put them in costumes, so like they're at beach volleyball.
Yes.
It's just
Dead or Alive beach
volleyball.
That's not for me. That is just not for me. If anything, fine. Let them do like those old Viking ones, like the lumberjack. Like log rolling, or they have to lift the thing or
chopping.
It's something that fantasy characters.
Oh yeah. When we go back to Kaldheim, we'll see like the Highland Games, the Kaldheim Highland Games.
Yeah. That would be sick.
If we do basketball, I need either alternate art or a corresponding secret layer. That is, if anybody remembers, there's the old backyard sports games for the PC. There's backyard like baseball, soccer, football, all of those. I need those as the art style.
Nice.
Bring back jarts.
Yawg, any settings you'd like to see something like this done?
Sort of goes off the Olympics, and I think it may have already really been done with Battle Bond, but like some sort of like arena based, like find the champion of the plains or something like that. I think that's pretty much what Battle Bond is, right? It's just like arena based.
Yeah, and it'd be a great opportunity to bring something like this back, like a
Yeah, so that
multi-planar
then
tournament, a
those
great
cards people would want.
revisit to Fiora, which was the plane of Battle Bond.
Mhm.
Yeah, great ideas. Great ones. And that's going to wrap up our Q&A. We are over time right now, so I
Yeah,
do
I need
want
to actually go.
Yeah, thank you very much, Shivam. Before you do run off, because we're going to announce our winners and raid, why don't you give everybody for the last time, remind everybody who you are, where we can find
Who are
you.
you, Shivam?
Yeah, it's like, well, hi, I'm Shivam. Everybody knows where I am. I'm on Blue Sky these days. You can also find me on Casual Magic or Shivam Wheel of Love Magic or the PPR that we just got last week. Man, that art looks sick. I love that. I think that's really, really cool. Schmander drew that. Anyways, guys, thank you so much. And it's been delightful. And I really genuinely love this set. I think it's super cool. And I hope you guys all enjoy it too.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Shivam. Really appreciate you coming on. Always a pleasure. Thank you again. Take care.
Be well, folks. Bye.
All right. So, team, announcing our winners, and then we will give everybody a chance to wrap up and we'll raid. Want to announce first the winner of the Infinite Tokens prize pack is C Massive Carson in chat. Congratulations, Carson. Winner of the artist proof for Hour of Victory is JJ Mickey. Congratulations,
Ooh.
JJ. Winner of the first precon of your choice is Oath of Moment. Congratulations, Oath of Moment. Winner for the artist proof of Crypt Caller Chariot is Mishotem. Congratulations, Mishotem, community stalwart. The winner of the second precon tonight is Ham. Just Ham. I had to read that again to make sure I got that right. It's just Ham. And then winner of the Willow Rush Verge artist proof is Misha. Congratulations,
Yay.
Misha.
Nice.
And thank you for your very generous donation. Thank you, everyone, for your very generous donations tonight. Congratulations to our winners. And I want to thank our amazing panel for your time tonight, too. Thank you all very much. Let's give everybody an opportunity to go around the horn once again. Remind everybody who you are and where we can find you tonight. Clay, we'll start with you.
Oh, I was waiting to go. Hi guys, I'm friends. I'm Claybee. I am the C&C representative that does the roundtables. When we do these, it's going to be my face that you're going to see, and me you hear ramble about art and story lore, and you're going to see my cat because I cannot keep him out of my office. The door was closed, but it doesn't matter. So he will be on every one of these. As his name is Bagheera, by the way. I don't know if I ever actually say his name. You can find me anywhere, any social media platform. You can search Claybee, and you'll find me. And I just want to say thank you again to everybody who donated, everybody who's hung out with us and chat, and to all of our guests. That this doesn't work as incredible as Chris is and as here as I am. It doesn't work if everybody else doesn't show up. So thank you so much for that and for helping us support a such a good cause.
Amazing. Thank you all very much. Thank you, Clay. Yawg, why don't you remind everybody who you are and where we can find you?
Yeah. I'm Yawg, or Yawgoth, all over the internet. You can catch me at MagicCon Chicago. I'm one of the featured cosplayers there, so I'll be working the floor all 3 days as one of the characters from Aetherdrift. So you can find me sort of in there, they do a little pop-up experience or greeting people as they come in the morning, or wandering around the Black Lotus Lounge to greet those folks as well. So I'll be very noticeable. You'll be able to find me.
Fantastic. Thank you, Yawg, for coming out. Really do appreciate
Thanks for having me. Yeah.
your time. This has been fantastic. Maddy, why don't you remind everybody who you are and where we can find you? And once again, thank you for donating your time tonight.
Well, thank you for having me. I am Madison from the Spike Feeders. I am also Clover Altars online. So you can find me on Blue Sky, Instagram, whatever, under Clover Altars, or on YouTube as the Spike Feeders. And I will also be at MagicCon Chicago, so come and say hello.
Awesome. Amazing. Thank you once again, Maddy. And Aaron, thank you for coming out. First time on the panel as well. But why don't you remind everybody who you are and where we can find you?
I'm Aaron Miller, one of the magic artists out there. AaronBMiller.com. It's the same for Blue Sky, which is where I'm hanging out mostly. And I'll be at MagicCon Chicago too. I'm going to have a super huge booth, so I'll be able to add in a lot. I'm going to have a lot of original art that no one gets to usually see.
Nice.
I'm finally going to be making a lot of it available. So,
Amazing.
Yeah, hopefully you guys can go by and visit. I have a bigger attraction than me. There is my helper is Joel, and everybody knows Joel. So if you want to visit Joel, you can stop by my booth and say hi as you come to visit Joel.
Amazing. Well, looking forward to getting dinner again in Chicago too.
Oh yeah, there's so many good places to eat here.
Amazing. Well, thank you for coming out tonight. And folks, we are about to go raid Tappy Toe Claws. I want to thank everybody again for your generous donations. Tonight, we raised over $500 for the Trevor Project in
Good
just
stuff.
about 2 hours, too. Absolutely amazing. Love you all. You have all done incredibly. Signing off tonight, I am Chris. I am your Commander Mechanic. Thank you, everyone, and good luck in the races.